Black people are still resting, and they're gonna be resting for quite some time, okay? Because I don't think y'all understand the severity. Like, I think that there's some people out here that think that black people are playing.
No King's Day, y'all. And if your ass is black, you better have your black ass at home. Line dance, barbecue with your family. Whatever you do, don't be out there in them streets.
So I saw this post somewhere asking if black people were going to go protest this weekend. And the simple answer is no. Keep your behind at home. Do not be out in these streets protesting anything. We did our job in November. If you voted, keep your ass at home.
Good morning. So nothing fancy this morning. I just wanted to hop up here and talk about the No Kings protest. So before you start gaslighting Black Americans about why they are not going to be outside protesting with you, just know that we are standing in solidarity with you. Just know that we are there with you in spirit, but we cannot physically be out on the front lines because they will be using us as target practice. I'm sure that you're well of your privilege, and I need you to use it immediately. For the longest time, Black voices and Black bodies have been the backbone of resistance in this country, to the point where I don't even know if you know how to resist without Black bodies and Black voices. And unfortunately, it's no longer our turn, because we showed up in November in 20 Black Suburbans like Sunday service, and we feel like we did our part.
Child. Auntie, you going to the King's Day? No, I'm not. And I know some of y'all are very disappointed in my opinion on this matter, but you'll be okay. I want my nieces and nephews to stay all the way at the house. Not because we don't agree with the messaging, but because white folks have not been trained on how to protect Black people when they're at these protests. And my nieces and nephews, we're not falling for the okie doke. We're just not. Because when ain't none of us there, it's a peaceful protest, right? The minute we start showing up, it's a riot.
We talk, it's been a while, I know. But Black women, we're still resting. Yep. Black people as a whole, we are tightening up our ship. Black people as a whole, we are building community amongst each other. Everything else around us is just a distraction at this point, because we warned, we shared information, infographics, data, and statistics of what might happen. And clearly, people did not believe that fat meat is greasy, right? Black people have lived in a certain, Black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, have lived on this stolen land for quite some time, and we understand patterns. We understand when the shift in the atmosphere changes, and we move accordingly. And what we're seeing is we have conditioned ourselves to do that. We have conditioned ourselves to pivot when the temperature changes. And a lot of people now are seeing the temperature change, not just feel it, but see it in real time, and they don't know how to react, and they don't know how to deal. So anybody that is getting on this app trying to tell Black women to do anything, trying to tell the 80% of Black American men to do anything right now other than do what we've been doing the past 10, 11, almost 12 months, you're part of the problem, not the solution. I hate to say it, but some of us ain't gonna make it because we too busy trying to argue with stupid. We too busy trying to argue with stupid. And I just refuse. This is your friendly reminder. We know how we got here. Our rest is important. How we mobilize look different. A lot of the revolution will not be televised. And that's why a lot of folks is mad, because they don't know what we doing, and it scares them.
Black people rest. Don't listen to what them other folks are telling you, that you always have to be ready to fight, ready to put your life on the line. There's no rest for the wicked. The righteous rest. Black people rest and regain your energy. Continue to practice organized indifference. You are allowed to rest. You're allowed to not always have to be a workhorse. There are people really saying Black people can't rest, and we need to always be ready. We need to get up and fight. How many years of that? How many years of that is it going to be? When do Black people get to rest? Now. And we're going to. If you are a Black person, rest. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I'm seeing stuff in the No Kings protest already, and now I'm starting to realize why they're mad that Black folks aren't protesting. Them folks don't know how to protest. They don't know how to actively protest. Like, they're not intentionally protesting. No chants, no information for people. Just cool signs that's trendy and photo ops. They don't know that those protests that we seen back in the day were planned and intentional.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Joe Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. The No Kings protest came and went, with thousands gathering in the streets to rally against the rise of authoritarianism in America. Protesters held signs declaring that they would not allow DT to turn their democracy into a monarchy. They chanted about freedom and resistance, filling the streets with urgency. But one thing stood out to anyone paying attention. Black Americans were noticeably absent. While many expected them to take the lead, as they have in so many social justice movements throughout history, most Black people simply did not show up, and it wasn't out of apathy. It was out of principle. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. Let's watch a few more clips, and I'll be back with more commentary.
Stop scrolling.
What I love about this era of American history is the fact that the Black people are not getting involved.
Saturday, October the 18th, 2025. There is going to be a No Kings protest everywhere. I want to just speak to my skin folk. I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, I'm begging you, please do not go anywhere near the protest areas. Please do not.
Black America, October the 18th, the assignment is still the same. Don't you take your behind out there and march.
Boy, y'all see these little no king protest bullshit they got going on. You see what white folk do when black people, you see how they show up and don't show out when black people ain't the forefront, mobilizing, organizing, and doing what we normally do when it comes to this shit. Ain't making no type of demands, no nothing. They just out there for a morning, afternoon stroll. But I done seen, I got partners in Atlanta, partners up in Michigan, up in Flint. But now you'll see a little speckle of pepper in there. But it's for the most part, it's white people.
I think people are still very confused by the rest and relaxation that Black people are deciding to take during this, economic time period. Because to them, before the veil was lifted, I think him being in office has made people realize how broken our country is, but Black people have realized for years and centuries how broken this country is already. So for them, they feel like, why aren't you fighting? But for years, they were already fighting, already doing all the work, and they were being gaslit and told that, oh, it's not true, the country's fine, you guys are just victims. And I feel like Black Americans learned very, very quickly that you cannot appeal to a racist because they are not human beings. They quite literally are just entities with human skin. So they're surprised and shocked that people are not doing anything, or in their eyes. But the thing is, relaxing and being joyful is also a form of resistance. It is a form of rebellion.
For years, Black communities across the United States warned that DT's leadership would head in this direction. They were among the first to recognize his rhetoric for what it was, not bold leadership, but dangerous ambition. Black voters, political organizers, journalists, and everyday citizens repeatedly sounded the alarm. They said, in unmistakable terms, that DT was not a guardian of democracy, but a threat to it. Yet their warnings were dismissed. They were told they were overreacting, making everything about race, or refusing to give him a chance. Now, as the consequences unfold, other groups are waking up to what Black people had been saying all along. Suddenly, the same citizens who once criticized Black protests are now in the streets chanting about tyranny. Suddenly, those who once claimed that America is too strong to fall are scrambling to prevent exactly that. Suddenly, democracy is in crisis, and now they are calling for unity. But Black Americans made it clear through their absence, this is not their emergency call to answer. Throughout history, Black people in America have been expected to carry the moral burden of the nation. While civil rights were violated, they marched. When injustice erupted, they organized. When democracy faltered, they stood up. Yet, when Black people needed the same solidarity in return, many times they were met with silence. Their struggles were often minimized unless politically convenient. Their demands for equality were labeled divisive unless rebranded for mainstream audiences. So when the No Kings protest was announced, some expected Black people to automatically appear at the front lines once again. Instead, most chose to remain at home. Social media was filled with comments from Black users watching the protest like a spectator sport, saying things like they didn't listen when we marched. They can handle this on themselves. It wasn't indifference, it was fatigue mixed with justified detachment. After years of protesting for their own rights, many Black Americans now refuse to fight battles others only notice when they themselves are affected. It's not that they disagree with the message of the protest. Most Black citizens understand the dangers of authoritarianism better than anyone. After all, they have lived under forms of oppression long before DT entered office, but experience has taught them that effort must be reserved for causes that genuinely include them. They are no longer volunteering to save a nation that only values them in times of crisis. The absence of black leadership at the protest sent a powerful message without a single chant or banner. It forced America to confront its double standard. When black people protested police violence, many were labeled rioters. When they protested voter suppression, some were accused of exaggeration. But now that other communities fear losing rights, suddenly protest is patriotic again. That hypocrisy is not lost on black observers. Some organizers insisted they wish more black people would have joined, arguing that all communities must stand together. But solidarity is not something that can be demanded when convenient. It must be built over time through consistent respect and mutual support. If black voices had been taken seriously from the beginning, perhaps the No Kings protest would not have been necessary in the first place. The truth is that trust itself has become a form of resistance. By choosing not to participate, black Americans asserted that their energy is not an exhaustible resource. They are tired of being America's default emergency responders. They are tired of having to prove danger before others believe it. They are tired of warnings being ignored until the fire reaches someone else's doorstep. So this time, they decided to sit back, fold their arms, and let others feel the urgency firsthand. From those watching from abroad, the message is clear. Black Americans are not disengaged. They are simply done being taken for granted. They warned the nation. They voted against the T in overwhelming numbers. They organized, campaigned, debated, and resisted long before the rest of the country caught on. Their absence at the No Kings protest is not apathy. It is evidence of boundaries finally being drawn. Now, the question is not where black people are. The real question is whether the rest of America will finally acknowledge that they were right. Will they listen next time? Will they include black voices before disaster strike? Will they protest democracy not just when it threatens them personally, but when it threatens others? Because if history has proven anything, is that black people will fight when it truly matters. But this time, they have chosen to step back, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. This was not their fight. They already fought it, and they refused to repeat themselves.
Watching footage from the No Kings protest, and I'm seeing sprinkles of black women there. I mean, I know the country is burning, but I thought we collectively agreed to sit this one out.
So what do you all think? Do you think black Americans were right to sit this protest out? And why do you think people only listen to black voices after the damage is done? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have another video specifically tailored for you. And if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, the Joy Report out.